Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news, and going into the Sao Paulo lock-in event, many of the teams from Group Alpha are already flying out there at the present time, but NRG Ardiis is not happy at all about the way this format is being set up. Not necessarily from the pro player perspective that they've been frustrated about, but actually from the fan perspective as well, saying despite the fact that Riot believe this is better for the fans, it actually might be worse because it's taking away the opportunity to do more events that would maybe be even better for the fan experience. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on this in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. So here we go then. Firstly, we've got Buzz here from DRX flying from Frankfurt out here to Sao Paulo. So they're on the flights, they're getting going. Many of the teams are flying out there now, plenty of days early before the event. As I said yesterday, and it's very clear indeed, many of these teams will be going home at the very first hurdle. They're flying out there a week early, getting all this practice in. They might play one tournament and go home immediately, but it's a big tournament at least. It's going to be interesting to watch for sure. And as Ye says, I'm coming to Brazil, so it's confirmed that Cloud9 are out there. Pretty much every single member of Cloud9 tweeted this exact tweet at exactly the same time. And yeah, here they are at the airport getting ready to go. Other teams also from Group Alpha, because I believe Group Omega starts a little bit later, so they're not flying out there yet. But February the 13th, right, which is about a week's time from now, is when these guys are all kicking it off. Of course, we've also got a Mixwell and Co as well here there at the airport spotted yesterday. And of course, the Carmine Corp guys as well, namely Would Scream and Nevera, posted up in this one right here. But as Dephh says, I thought was kind of funny, landed in LA when everyone else is leaving for Brazil, so interesting timing there. But it also does mean something for the tier 2 teams, the likes of G2, the likes of, for example, M80, that you know, effectively all the top teams are flying out to Brazil at the moment when they have been getting some good practice against those teams. So it's interesting in a way that most of the top teams, the tier 1 franchise teams, they've been getting their practice against the tier 2 teams, right? The likes of G2, the likes of M80, the Guard, all this type of stuff. They're now gone to Brazil, so I guess they'll be practicing against teams locally from, you know, it's tough to say who they practice against, so maybe just some local, you know, Brazilian teams and South American teams in general. But also for the teams back home in North America in tier 2, they now have less practice partners, right? Even as Nismo says here from M80, no franchising scrims anymore. So obviously they were having a great time, and that's the thing. A lot of the top, you know, tier 2 teams, they were really making great progress, I'm sure, playing the franchising teams. Many of the franchising teams would probably say that M80 in terms of practice were on a very similar par to a lot of the tier 1 franchising teams. They've made big progress by being able to practice against these guys, and now for the upcoming weeks, that's not going to be the case anymore. Who do M80 practice now? They probably have to play against, you know, some even tier 3 opposition, because a lot of the tier 1 teams have gone to Brazil, and they don't want to play tier 2 teams that are in challenges with them, because you might give away ideas. So it becomes a bit tricky for all of the teams involved. Also a big update here on the Indian Valorant scene, because we saw a couple of weeks ago now that Sinatraa was offered like a 6-figure contract to go to India and play for one team out there, and he was like, yeah, that just doesn't really make any sense financially given the type of money he's currently on. But we've seen offers. I mean, Aaron, for example, formerly of cNed, is also, you know, he joined Global Esports, right? And now there's a, you know, Doma, right? And also Eccles, who was briefly on 100 Thieves in that crazy stint that they had where they brought Eccles and was it babybay in, and it lasted about 2 or 3 weeks before they blew up the team and decided to completely go from scratch again. But yeah, apparently they're meant to join this official VLT Valorant division, so Velocity Gaming, this Indian team, they're going to join them. So pretty cool stuff, right? That these players, I mean, it's good to see. I think we see this in other sports as well, and you know, even regular sports, not just esports, but players that have done, you know, good things in other regions then get brought out to different regions to, you know, help those players grow and improve. And you know, I think hopefully it can work out well for both parties here. So that's just sources for now that are, you know, the likes of Doma, who's obviously looking for a team, and also Eccles potentially going out to the Indian region. Also this note here from, well, I'm not exactly sure how this is meant to be pronounced, but Seoul Esports or whatever the case is, I think one of the biggest kind of you know, creator run organizations in the Indian region. They're also looking to enter the Valorant scene here. So yeah, some big updates today from India, which I thought was quite interesting. And of course Global Esports, as the team is getting ready to go as well in relatively short order as well. They will be at the Sao Paulo kickoff event, where Ardiis is not happy with the format. Now we saw, of course, when the format was confirmed a couple of weeks ago, that there was some frustration from the players, mainly about the single elimination. The idea that a team like Sentinels, one of Sentinels or Fnatic, one of Cloud9 and PaperX will go home at the first time of asking. They'll play one best of 3, one team will be gone, and that's it, you know, catch the plane home. And I know there's a lot of frustration even from around the community about the way this tournament is run. Now there's an argument to say this is the only good way they could do it for this massive 32 team tournament. There are some alternatives, but I guess they thought given the limitations they have for timing and stuff like this, I mean, at the end of the day, there's like 3 weeks for this tourney. They could definitely have done a better job than they're actually doing, I think, because, you know, other tournaments can achieve something like this in a very few days, but you've probably got to have multiple broadcast streams. Maybe they weren't keen to do something like that. So whatever the case is, it's probably not the best tournament, but nonetheless, the best team will win at the end of the day, and it will at least be good to see all teams in attendance. But Ardiis reckons the following: I've been thinking this event is meant to be better for the fan experience, but they lose a full season of online play and a Masters event just to have a single elimination event. Surely this is worse for the fans, no? Now, I actually think Ardiis is kind of right on the money here, and Eccles actually agrees in the replies, speaking facts once again. So this is what Leo Farrier said from Riot Games when this was confirmed. There was a lot of drama, of course, about the format, right? And as he says, we're inviting all 30 partner teams, plus 2 teams from China for this single elimination format. And as Carl says, making the teams from China travel across the entire globe, potentially to play 1 best of 3. Really great start to show what you guys think of the teams and players. Now, you know, Leo says traveling is their job. They're professional athletes. Okay, athletes a bit questionable, but whatever. Who get paid well to compete at the highest level in tournaments all around the world. I love that you care about them. I do too. But fans are more important than pros, teams, or Riot Games, and this format is the best for fans. Now, you know, I don't actually agree with it being best for fans, but even if it was best for the fans, for this individual tournament, Ardiis has a good point, right? That actually having this tournament as it is, this 3 weeks of event in Sao Paulo, that isn't really as good a format as it could be anyway, is actually not best for the fans, fundamentally because they're losing out on what could be some actual good competition that could go on at a similar time. Obviously, the format itself with the kind of double group situation here with Alpha and Omega has caused some controversy, but to me, what Ardiis is saying, which is a point that we haven't really discussed yet, is the fact that this is taking up time that could be used for, you know, other competition, right? This to me is one of the, I mean, there's 3 events this season. There's the Kickoff event in Sao Paulo, there's Masters, and then there's Champions, right? That's it. Usually we get at least 2 Masters, if not 3 Masters we got sometimes. This year we only have 1, and that's arguably in large part because there's this big Kickoff tourney here when they could have done an entire split and then a Masters, then a split and then a Masters, which is probably what most esports would have done with a small Kickoff right here maybe in January. I don't know. But instead they've done it like this, and this is such a massive event over 3 weeks that it means that you don't get the first split and then Masters, second split Masters. You just get big Kickoff event, of which half the teams will play 1 series, and then you've got the split and then only 1 Masters and then LCQ. So, you know, to me the calendar does seem very bare. Like, I'm actually more interested, for now at the very least, in challenges that I am in the tier 1 scene. I think that's in large part due to the way it's been organised. When it gets down to, like, you know, May, June, July and everything, it's going to be very interesting in the tier 1 side. But yeah, just the way they've done this to me isn't optimal. And also they've got Masters here spanning May all the way through to July. So I don't know if that's actually going to be the case. But yeah, we'll see about that one. But does Ardiis make a fair point in your assessment? Because I think in the ideal world, there's, you know, maybe the Kickoff isn't actually even a thing anymore, but they do another Masters split instead, and maybe they do like a small, you know, smaller Kickoff tournament in all regions at the start of the year. We'll see what they decide to do next year, and it makes sense for them to do something big for the start of the franchise era. But yeah, to say this is best for the fans, I'm not so sure is actually true necessarily. Just to close out the video here, I wanted to share an interesting clip actually from the Wiseman podcast that was being said on Sentinels. Of course, they're going to play Fnatic over the upcoming days at this VCT lock-in event for their first round game, and there's been some discussion about Sacy and Pancada, whether the Brazilian fans are kind of turning against them, whether they feel like they're traitors. I think it seems to be a bit of a split opinion right now on what the Brazilian fans think of Sacy and Pancada, but yeah, certainly a bit of drama going into the upcoming event. So I'll share that clip to close out the video, but I also just to mention from BenJ Fishy here that his team is still delivering the goods, so hopefully he can keep this progress going forward into the rest of 2023. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
The Brazilian scene, have they stuck by like Sacy and Pancada, or are you guys more supporting Loud? Like,
No. I mean, I don't know if you guys recall, but Sentinels and the Brazilian community didn't get along.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like so the Brazilian community probably thinks they're like traitors. Or
yeah, a lot of people are treating them like traitors. I'm not, like, come on, that's one life opportunity, you know. Even though everyone's the VC Americas, Loud, Furia, and NRG Ardiis, they're still Brazilian orgs, so the money is not the same. As R$1 is like $5 and some change. So they had a one lifetime opportunity to go there, so I support them like fully, but not everyone in Brazil. People are still, especially Loud fans.
How confident is the scene right now in Brazil for like Loud with the roster changes? Like, are you guys all optimistic? Are you guys anxious? Like, what's the deal?
They lost like 3 important guys, right? Sacy, amazing. Pancada is amazing. And Bazooka is amazing. But they still have, like, in my opinion, the best IGL and the best player in the world right now with Sadak and Aspas. They're really good. They're still really good. I just want to see what Rui is going to do, because he was a really good duelist, like one of the best since beta. And now I think he's going to have to play as a smoke. So I'm curious to see what he can do. Kawanzin is really good as well. He was the best upcoming player last year. He's really young as well. I think he's around 18,